do I start reading?
Yeah, you can start whenever.
To the students who are trying their best.
A message for myself and for the people who need to hear this.
My secondary school journey finally ended, and I had a very interesting conversation with one of my friends a few days ago, and I really just wanted to share my thoughts. Are the newer generations really becoming more and more strawberry?
Some people from the older generations and other groups seem to think so. I'm not sure how familiar this term is to other people, but this term has been stuck with me for my entire life, and I really want to talk about this.
I don't know who needs to hear this, but I think it matters. To break down over results is normal to me, and probably to a lot of other students too, regardless of school. Results are important, but I always seem to blur the line between it being important and it defining me.
First of all, coming to my secondary school made me realize that I'm really not suited for these kinds of schools and environments. To be honest, I don't feel like I could have gotten into my secondary school had it not been for my 4 subjects but 5 tuitions in primary school.
That means I had tuition almost every day. I cannot guarantee that I would have gotten into my secondary school without getting so many tuitions.
It seems like I got into my secondary school with brute force instead of intelligence, and that sucked. I probably knew that since day one, but I didn't want to admit it.
There's a term very common called closet markers. I wouldn't call myself a closet marker. I do admit it when I study, but when I say I didn't study, it means I really didn't. And most of the time, my results do reflect the amount of effort I put in. But there are times when I don't want to be honest about my efforts.
That might not seem like a big problem to others, but it means a lot to me. It means I'm prioritizing intelligence and pride over my own efforts. Which is absolutely ridiculous because intelligence isn't something you've earned for yourself.
It's predetermined. It makes more sense to compare other factors that we can control, like the amount of effort we put in. Then there comes this question.
Why do I not want to admit that I've studied? Throughout my secondary school life, I've heard things like,
You have tuition. You should be scoring better than me. Why are you doing so badly?
You studied, but you scored lower than me.
Honestly, I don't think you're that smart at all. I scored higher than you.
I'm not directing this at anyone because I've heard this more than once. But these comments stayed with me throughout my secondary school life. I would definitely be afraid to admit that I studied. Because what if I studied and my grades didn't show? Doesn't that mean I'm stupid? In these kinds of situations, I wouldn't want to admit that I studied. It's hurting my pride.
Why I'm talking about this is because I feel like this is what the environment of my secondary school did to me. My school's a really, really good school with good people, but I just don't think I belong.
I never thought one day I'll even be scared to admit that I put in effort and did my best.
I never thought that I could cope very well here. The competition is tough. I don't think I'm the only one who gets mocked for my results. This might be a good drive for some people to work harder because they want academic validation. But I've been driven up the wall so close to the point that I've given up on getting academic validation. I just want to quickly wrap things up.
However, this drive to study did go up by quite a bit during O-levels period.
By then, I had gained some confidence that it was quite possible for me to get straight A's. I was on track.
That was until I fell sick 3 days before O-levels. I came down with a flu, which might not seem like a big issue to other people, but I took my E-Math and listening comprehension exams with that fever.
Why I chose to take it while I was sick is simply because I was just scared that they'd take my prelims and not give me special consideration to retake the exam. I'm too scared to take that chance.
Because no matter what O-level results will be, they'll definitely be better than my prelims. These 3 days not only affected my LC and E-Math, because what came after these exams were humanities.
It's like I could feel all my A's slipping away from my grasp right in front of my eyes.
Humanities has always been my strong suit, but I didn't even look at a book once during those 3 crucial days. I didn't do anything. I just lied on the bed all day trying to fall asleep. It was crap.
Is this an excuse for me to flunk my exams? It probably seems like an excuse to some. If I tried harder before O-levels, I wouldn't need these 3 days. But I didn't, and that's on me. That's not wrong, but I did what I could during the time period that I decided to work hard. So when it felt like all my efforts went down the drain, I cried.
Probably more than once, more than twice, and more than 3 times. It was crap. I felt like crap and I wanted to give up. And yes, I did.
It's true that I shouldn't give up until the end, but with E-Math, social studies, history, and geography down the drain, I just didn't really see the point to carry on anymore.
That isn't the point though, because after I calmed down, I asked myself, why am I crying so badly? Is it really just because my efforts went down the drain, or is it because of something else?
Of course, I answered that question for myself. It was simply because I thought my life was over, just because I screwed up a national exam. This might seem overly dramatic to some people, but I know people who think like that. If some people didn't think that way, would they really be breaking down so often over exams?
It's common, which brings me back to the question, is this generation strawberry?
Or maybe, in my own context, am I really strawberry?
It might sound contradicting, but to be honest, I really don't think I am. I don't think this generation is too.
I think everyone has their own breaking points and different mentalities. The same situation could make or break a person. Why I don't think I'm strawberry is simple. It's just because I feel like I have been put under so much academic stress since young till now, to be brainwashed into thinking that's my entire life.
So am I wrong to be worried about something when it's my entire life? I don't feel like I'm strawberry because I'm overly dramatic. Because my overly dramatic reactions to failures in academics has made me stronger in every other aspect of my life.
The fact that I let it get to me is my fault. But there is also fault in the environment.
Clearly, this stress didn't make me. It broke me. I started giving up ever since I stepped into this school. Not only did my family environment make me think this way, but my school too. How many times have we seen people stressing out and breaking down just because we don't think we'll do well? I'd like to deny and say that I haven't been affected, but I obviously have been. As I've mentioned, my school is still a really good school with a lot of good people, but it's just not the place for me.
Despite all this, I still don't think I'm strawberry simply because whenever I feel like crap or face other difficulties,
I just tell myself, at least it's better than studying. I truly think that way. When I go to work, when I have nothing to eat, when I'm tired, that's all I tell myself. And that one sentence is all it takes to keep me going.
It just so happens that academics is my breaking point. But if you bring any other kind of issues to me, I really don't think I'll feel stressed at all. Because I will always remember that anything is better than studying. Yes, I absolutely hate studying.
I know a lot of people will say that I'll miss studying when I go to work, but to be truthful, I'm quite sure I wouldn't. I seriously hate studying. I've worked since 13, never hated it. I've been studying since I was 7, for the love of God. If I wanted to love studying, I would have done it so long ago by now. I hate studying.
And I hate it that sometimes the one thing I hate doing the most is what I think it defines me. I've heard countless of times people telling me that my grades are important. No grades, no future, which is clearly absolute bullshit.
Please do not listen. At the very end, I'm just trying to bring across a very simple point.
Your grades do not define
Define
you.
you. You are not strawberry just because you cry over academics.
That's how some of us were brought up.
That doesn't make us weak.
I hope to ask for a little more understanding.
Generation to generation, person to person.
That's all I have to say. To the people who need to hear this, I sincerely hope this essay will help you cope better with whatever you're going through. To whoever is reading this, regardless of age or generation, I hope this has brought a new perspective to being strawberry. Just a side note, I also know people who love school. I'm just sharing my experience, personal to me. Hopefully that helped. That's it. Thank you for reading. All the best to us.
I want to give her a hug. When I think about these sort of problems and like I cry, I do think it's because I cannot take the pressure or like I'm weak. In the context of my own family, like my old mom always whenever me or my older sister faces like struggles with stress or like academic stress or interpersonal relationship stress, she'll just tell us to toughen up and that it's just all in our mind and we just need to have a strong mindset and strong willpower and that we can't be so soft and so weak all the time. And how she substantiates that claim is by giving her own life as an example and saying that in the past, like she also had to do all the studying like we did and they also had to endure the same kind of stress, but they still made it through and they were like resilient through it all. So why can't we be the same as them? It'll
it'll be great if there's just a bit more understanding, because we are of different generations, and while I understand that my mother has these perspectives, I also hope she realizes that times are changing and that the problems that we are coping with are not necessarily the same that she has gone through.
Like, it gets even more competitive, and what defines you is not just academics. So academics is obviously still a huge part, but it starts to become like there's other stuff like holistic education kind of stuff, CCA, leadership, and research projects, whatever else as well. Then people are also competitive over this. Then sometimes when people fail, or like when they feel like they are not capable of taking out as many extra like non-academic activities as other people, then they complain and then stuff like that lah. Then some people also label certain people who exhibit this kind of behavior as like strawberry or weak because they cannot take failures and stuff. But in reality, I think everyone's just trying really hard because they are being forced to try really, really hard, and when they fail, they really do feel like their whole future is over, or like people genuinely do feel that if they don't do this, if they don't do that, if they're not good enough, they really won't be able to get into a decent university or like be able to get scholarships or have a decent future.
She made one point on something about studying and having great results equates to a better future. And I think what she meant was you will be able to get a better job. But then again, you will have to ask yourself, what do you want to do in the future, and what a better job? What do you define as a better job?
If not being good at academics has made you stronger in other aspects of life that are probably arguably more important, then I don't think that's not a bad thing. And you're not weak. It doesn't make you weak. In fact, it makes you stronger. I can imagine like how much stress, trauma that studies have brought into not just this person, but a lot of students in general. And I think it's quite sad, and I want to say that, like, sure, study is not important, but realistically it is. And I know it is, and that's why I try hard. And that's why a lot of people try hard for their studies. Because it's just what we are taught to do now, and how we are brought up. Like, you study hard, you do well, and then that's the easiest way to know that you are successful. Or at least that's how we're told out. And for me, I follow that path. But to see someone going a different path where they achieve success in other ways, like outside of academics, like, to me that's more impressive, because they are not doing what everyone else does and what they're told to, but rather finding something that works for them. And yeah, that's very cool.
Everyone can have something that they can be admired in. The fact that she tried, the fact that she thinks this, the fact that like it matters to her, I feel like that's what like I would admire her for.
At the end of the day, I feel we cannot change where we are in. Like, as much as I feel stressed and as much as I relate with her, we have to go through this pressure-proof God. I just hope he or she finds purpose in his or her life. And I think that's what matters. Yeah.
To what you like. I think that's the most important.